Hi guys, it's Zoe here with Endometriosis Australia. We're at the Women Asians Cup at the Gold Coast, and today we have Tameka here to speak to us about endometriosis. She's our newest ambassador for Endometriosis Australia. Thank you very much for being here with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me. And as you just mentioned, I'm new to Endometriosis Australia, but super excited to be here and share my story with you.
Can you take us back to and explain your symptoms when they first began and what it was like when you were diagnosed?
Yeah, for me it was a bit of a journey, and it probably started early 20s. During my teenage years, I was on the pill and didn't really experience many period symptoms at all. And it wasn't until I came off the pill and sort of got a regular menstruation, I guess, and the symptoms slowly crept in, and I definitely wasn't aware of them at first and didn't think much of it until it started to get to a point where it was pretty excruciating and I guess affecting sort of my daily life, not necessarily just football-wise, but daily life, and then throwing in some symptoms that I wouldn't have normally associated with a period as well. So for me, it was like a slow sort of process to realizing, and I'd never heard of endometriosis before either. So yeah, it probably took a couple of years for me to realize that something was a little bit off, and even then I didn't necessarily seek any sort of medical help or outside sort of expertise or information until yeah, it was kind of crippling and debilitating. So it was definitely a journey for me, and something that I think if there was a bit more, not necessarily just education, but an environment to more easily talk about this sort of stuff, I think maybe I would have clued on a little bit earlier, but no, it was slow for me.
And can I ask you, how did the process of getting diagnosed affect you mentally and emotionally?
Yeah, I think I only really sort of discovered that I might have had endometriosis was because my partner and I were going through the IVF process because we wanted to start a family, and so before that I hadn't really looked into getting checked out until it was kind of like in my face about it.
Yep.
And
You were confronted with it?
yeah, and it was more of a case of, you know, when you find out that it's possible that you have it, not necessarily you
It's
definitely
definitive.
have it. Yeah,
Yep.
which was kind of difficult because I'm like, it's at the back of your mind that I could have this, but also what if I don't, and what explains everything else that I'm going through if I don't. So I think there is a little bit of anxiety that comes with that, knowing that there's an issue, but is it endometriosis, is it not, and how else is it kind of affecting me, and fertility as well. So yeah, I think I was lucky in the fact that my partner and I were at that stage where we wanted to start a family, so we were already sort of in the presence of a doctor that knew what they were talking about and willing to sort of assist me as well.
So can you talk me through the 2023 FIFA World Cup? What were you going through? How were your symptoms at the time? What was happening with your health and playing?
The World Cup is a bit of a blur with the fact that, I mean, how successful it was, and it was kind of crazy and absolutely amazing, and I guess a lot of the pain that I was experiencing was kind of suppressed even post-tournament. I was trying to enjoy the World Cup and be in the moment as much as I could at the time, but in order to do that I was exceptionally lucky that I had the support of the medical team through the national team. And yeah, I was kind of living on anti-inflammatories and painkillers, and yeah, you know, the nausea wafers and sort of all different things, whether there was a few sleepless nights as well. So yeah, I think I probably wouldn't have got through the World Cup like being on the field and being able to perform without that medical support that I had literally 24/7. So and I know there's like the stigma of players like.
I was going to say pushing through. You've mentioned pushing through your symptoms. So, and that looked like, were you saying like the pain relief, the anti-nausea?
Yeah, and for me, I think looking back at it, I wouldn't change anything that I did because that was such a pivotal moment in my career and something that, you know, I've dreamt of for a long time. So if I had to do it all over again, I would do the same thing in pushing through the symptoms. But I think the key factor was that I had the support and I knew what I was doing, and it wasn't necessarily that I was just pushing it under the rug. It was more, I knew what I had to get to. I had a time frame and a plan set in place for post-tournament as well. So I think yeah, given that I had a better understanding going into the tournament what it was going to be like if I did have an endo flare-up and being prepared for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you ever felt like your symptoms were something that you weren't able to push through? Have you had days like that, moments like that?
Yeah, I definitely have, and there's been times where I've changed my training load and certain things on a particular day to sort of get through that. Um, and again, I think I was lucky that I was in a high performance environment where I had not just medical staff, but S&C and S&C coaches and specific people that could look after that for me as well.
Yeah. And we know that elite sport often recognises, toughness and resilience. Do you feel that that contributed in speaking up or made it tougher for you to seek support about your pain?
Yeah, definitely. I think you never really want to show that you're in pain, especially when you're on the field, and it is a moment that you need to perform as well. But at the same time, now that there is a little bit more awareness about it, I think it's really important to speak up when you are in pain that can be managed or can be helped and assisted. So I think that's the important thing, is differentiating between when something's hard and you're doing something physically hard. If that's the reason, then absolutely you can push through it. But when it's something beyond that, there's absolutely no shame in seeking support around that and help with dealing with it.
So for young girls who are experiencing period pain or they're worried something more serious might be happening, have you got any advice or recommendations about what type of support they could seek out?
The younger you are, the harder it is to understand. Your body's obviously going through changes as well as a teenager. So I think the most important thing is to talk about it, whether that's with your family or your friends at school. And I think one thing when I was a teenager is that I had zero awareness of anything like that, or what a sort of normal period was, because it wasn't necessarily spoken about all that much. So I think the most important thing is to open up about it in a safe space, and if you're not sure that you have that, you can always look at Endometriosis Australia's website. There's a lot of support places through. I mean, if you're just doing general research, or if you are talking about it with teachers, with someone you trust as well, I think the most important thing is to get an understanding of what's normal and maybe what's not normal, and to seek medical help earlier rather than later.
And as an athlete yourself, how would you recommend that parents of girls playing sport or, family, how can they best support young girls going through this?
To talk openly about it and maybe be the ones to bring it up and check in on your kids. And it might not necessarily be yours, it could be one of their best friends. But if you're creating a safe space for your own children to talk about things, then they can extend that to their friends as well. Social awareness of what's going on, and the more we talk about it, the better. So it is, for parents, just creating that open environment and checking in as often as you can.
Absolutely. So what would you say to young girls who are playing sport who are experiencing period pain?
Yeah, the period pain that sidelines you is not okay.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.